welcome back to my channel. I don't know why it's so much, oh, there we go. I was like, why is it so dark? But as you can tell, yet again, by the title, we are reading Tone Deaf by Olivia Rivers. We are currently on chapter 16 from Allie's perspective. All of this you know by the title, but I just want to say it again and again and again. But we are on page 129, and I don't know where you're at, if you're following along even on like a Kindle or anything like that. Like, I don't know where you'd be, so yeah. Oh my goodness, I should make John have like a southern accent. I just think of him as like such like a buff soft dude, but like maybe I should have him have a southern accent. Just have it be like funny. I'm not like pro at any accents, guys. I just, Anyway, let's just get right started. It's been 3 days since I left Los Angeles, but it feels like an eternity has passed. Jace has been strangely quiet since our awkward, bumbling conversation the first evening of my escape. I keep catching him frowning at me like I'm some sort of baffling jigsaw puzzle, but every time I try to talk to him, he shuts down the conversation the moment it starts to get personal. With the adrenaline of my escape wearing off, and with no one to talk to, boredom is starting to gnaw at me. I click on the desktop coding icon, bringing the program to life on the computer screen. Ever since Jace told me I could use the computer, I've been madly coding every moment I have. All my works in progress are trapped on my computer back in Los Angeles. But I'm almost glad I have to restart all of my projects. It means I'm going to have to spend hours recreating things, and the intense work is a welcome distraction from the monotony of traveling. There's a tiny window right next to the desk, and I've opened the shades just a sliver, so I can watch our progress as we travel. We're still in the desert and surrounded by rocks, and more rocks. There's not much sand anymore. The RV caravan is stopped at a rest station for its usual afternoon break, and even though we've only been here for 10 minutes, I'm already itching to get moving again. We're only 70 miles outside of Albuquerque, the city Tone Deaf will be stopping at for the next 3 days, and the city where I'll branch off, and start traveling on my own. I give up on the coding program, having made no progress since we stopped. I'm thinking too hard to focus on something as difficult as this. I click on the little internet icon, silently cursing Jace for using Internet Explorer instead of Google Chrome. I hate Explorer, but it's easy enough to pull up a search engine and type in A through X lyrics database. Aside from coding, that's another thing I've been doing to keep busy, surfing the internet and reading Tone Deaf's lyrics. And about 2/3 of the songs aren't half bad, and they're typical cliche pop punk songs about relationships and parties and other stuff I have no experience with. But they're catchy, and I can see why so many fans love them. Then there's the remaining third. They're songs like Criminal, and they're probably what made Tone Deaf famous. Dark and depressing, the lyrics would fit death metal songs better. But somehow Jace manages to make the lyrics beautiful and haunting, almost like a well-written eulogy at a funeral. His style is a huge variation from the normal pop punk stuff, but put it to music and I can see the lyrics being enchanting in an oddly morbid way. A hand taps my shoulder and I give a little yelp of surprise as I whirl around. Killer stands there, although I'm not sure exactly when he came inside the RV. He peers over my shoulder at the screen, and even with his nerd glasses, he has to squint. Killer nods toward the laptop. "What you doing on the lyrics site, darling?" Without an invitation, he sits on the edge of the desk and leans in to get a closer look at the screen. I take a deep breath and resist the urge to shove him away. Killer seems to take the hint, because he backs off like half an inch, which I have a feeling is a pretty big move for him. Then he proceeds to nudge my hand away from the mouse, click on the history bar, and scroll through the... This would be so embarrassing. Click on the history bar and scroll through my latest visits. He turns and grins at me like he's not doing something totally invasive and annoying. So, he says, drawing out the word. He clicks open the blank text document and tilts the keyboard towards himself, his fingers flying across the keys as he types out a message. You like Jace's lyrics? I shrug. They're alright. He rolls his eyes and types a little more, then spins my chair so it faces the screen directly. Millions of girls don't fall in love with alright. Jace's lyrics are phenomenal. No, that dude's got talent. I raise my eyebrows. You do realize you're calling your own band talented, don't you? Killer just bursts out laughing, like my response is the funniest thing he's ever heard. Then he squeezes my shoulder in an awkward little hug. Darling, I like you, he announces. Okay? You're cute, you know that, he types, turning back to the screen. I forgot how cute girls can be. It's just not cute at all when they're strangely obsessed with you, but you're not obsessed, and that makes you cute. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I just nod. Killer smiles in return and, to my relief, backs away another inch. Then he wags a finger at me, like I'm a puppy who's beat on the carpet, and types out another message. And Jace is a fabulous musician. His lyrics are awesome, and his music is awesome, and you can't deny it. Okay? He sighs, and his glasses slip to the tip of his nose as he stares down with an exasperated look. Can't you sound a little more enthusiastic about his awesomeness? Yippee? No, try ditching the question mark at the end. I give him my best you've got to be kidding me look. Jace is awesome, hooray! Much better. Now add some excited arm flailing. I'm sorry, this is just such a funny conversation. Jace strides out of the kitchen and turns to me, a frown on his lips. Why are you talking to yourself? He asks, and a heat floods to my cheeks as I realize how crazy our half-type conversation must sound. Then Jace sees Killer and the messages on my screen. Oh. Killer waves him away. I'm teaching Allie how to get excited over something, he says aloud. I don't think she's quite grasping the concept, but with a little coaching, she'll have it down eventually. I'm sitting right here, you know, I snap, and I can read lips. Killer winks at me, his mouth lifting in a playful smile that tells me he's just teasing. Oh, I tried to smile back a little, making the expression apologetic. I might have a good reason for mistrusting guys, but I guess I shouldn't assume Killer is the type to intentionally cause harm. Intentionally. Jace's just moves up and down in a grow. Excuse him. How I said that just makes it sound like someone farted. Okay. Excuse him. Jace says to me as he strides over to the desk. Killer is socially inept and an idiot and very rude to company. I cross my arms over my chest and look Jace right in the face. Right in the eye. Does he only have one eye? Sorry. Why am I laughing? Okay. I like him. Well, then you can keep him, Jace says. Seriously, keep him. Keep him with you till you get to New York. It'll solve a lot of my problems. Killer turns to rattle off some retort. I can't see his lips from this angle, but judging by Jace's amused expression, Killer's language is getting pretty colorful. I'm in love with this book. I mean, Olivia Rivers. So good. Turning back to the computer screen, I leave the two to their bickering. I close the text document in the internet browser before Jace can read anything and start asking why I'm so interested in his lyrics. Not that I'd answer him. It's like I keep finding a little piece of myself in each of his songs, and some part of me thinks that maybe if I read all of the lyrics, then I'll understand myself. But that sounds stupid even to me, and I'd never admit anything like that out loud. As I click out of the browser, I find myself staring at Jace's desktop background again. When he asked not to change it, I figure it'd be some sentimental picture. I should have known better. Instead of a picture, the desktop is plain white with the words "Serva me servaboti" written in it. What does that mean? I asked before I can stop myself. What does what mean? Jace asked. I point to the computer. Your desktop. What do those words mean? It's an old Latin saying, Jace says. Then he hesitantly adds, my mom used to always wear this locket with those words engraved on it. It was a family heirloom. My dad lost the locket, but I like to keep the phrase around. But what does it mean? I insist. He bites his lip and stares hard at the screen. Then he murmurs, it means hope. Okay, that's not exactly helpful, but I shrug like I really don't care about his cryptic explanation, and turn to Killer. Are you going to stick around until the next rest stop, I say? I try to keep my tone neutral and not at all pleading, but if Killer stays, then I'd have someone to talk to and help fend off my boredom. I'd given up on engaging Jace in conversation. I've given up on engaging Jace in a conversation that's not awkward and stunted. We're not heading to the next rest stop until tomorrow, Jace said. We're done driving for today. What? Killer says, but I thought Tony wanted us to be in Albuquerque by tonight. Jace shakes his head. Check your phone, he just texted. One of the trucks is having engine problems, so we're stopped until that gets fixed. Killer curses at the news and then says to me, sorry, sweetie, but you're on your own with Jace for the evening. I promised I'd spend time with Arrow. He offers me an apologetic smile and adds, we'll catch up tomorrow, okay? Killer's accent just keeps changing from a bunch of different British accents to not even British sometimes. I have no idea what we need to catch up on, but I nod anyway, even though I don't plan on doing any hanging out tomorrow. But by the time we get to Albuquerque, hopefully in the late morning, I'll have hundreds of miles between me and Los Angeles. It should be far enough away to make it safe to find an airport and travel the rest of the way by plane. No one is going to know to look for me at an airport in New Mexico. And if we have... Is New Mexico hundreds of miles away, though? I don't think so. Actually, yeah, it is. Why did I read this the first time? I think it was 1,000 miles away. Anyway. No one is going to know to look for me at an airport in New Mexico, and if I have Jace buy the ticket under his name, it should be completely safe. Killer says a quick goodbye and leaves, and I sigh as I feel the rattle of the front door closing. Jace strides... Wait, she wants him to buy an airport ticket, but she doesn't want... She was gonna go secretly. Okay, she's gonna go secretly, but now it's like... Anyway. Killer says a quick goodbye and leaves, and I sigh as I feel the rattle of the door closing. Jace strides away from the desk area and collapses on the couch. With Killer gone, I guess we're back to normal. Jace awkwardly avoiding conversation with me and me pretending I don't notice. I glance back at the desktop screen one more time, trying to find meaning in the words. Googling the phrase would get me an answer, but I don't want to give Jace the satisfaction of knowing I care enough to bother researching it. Jace waves at me to get my attention, then scowls at the computer as he signs. I'm going to need to use that for a bit. Are you going to write? I ask. After reading most of his lyrics, I'm curious about his process for creating them. He shakes his head. I only write lyrics freehand. I never type them until they're finished. He grimaces at the computer. I'm just going to be working on marketing. My manager set me up with a bunch of social media accounts, so I'm supposed to spend a few hours every week charming fans with my delightful personality. I raise an eyebrow. You're sure you shouldn't hire a new manager because you're neither charming nor delightful? He shrugs, but doesn't bother protesting. I just respond to the messages about my music and try to ignore all the other ones. Ignoring people is also not charming or delightful, I sigh, giving him a pointed look. I'm not exactly sure why he's been avoiding me the last couple of days, but if he gets the hint that I'm annoyed, he doesn't show it. Instead, his eyes suddenly widen, like he's struck with an idea. He points at me. But you are. I'm what? Charming, delightful, he raises his eyebrows at me, and hopefully merciful enough to take over my social media duties. I shoot him a skeptical look. You want me to post on your accounts? Yes, he signs. It'll be easy for you, I promise. Just reply to messages from fans and pretend to love everyone and be super excited. As I consider this, my stomach lets out a growl. I haven't eaten in a while, but I don't even want to go into the kitchen and grab food. All Jace has to eat are things like sesame seed, crackers, and seaweed carob chips. What? In other words, disgusting stuff I'd never touch in a million years. Honestly, I like healthy food, so I'd kind of be in heaven in his trailer, like with all his foods. I'll make you a deal, I say out loud. I'll do your social media stuff if you get me a bowl of mac and cheese, and not some gross healthy version. I mean the good stuff with 10,000 carbs and chemical cheese. He cringes at the thought. I'm not going to let you poison yourself as part of our deal. Too bad. Either get me my mac and cheese or you do your social media on your own. Jay sets out a relenting sigh and says, John always keeps like 10 boxes of that stuff around. So do we have a deal, I ask? He smiles a little and makes me remember why I decided to trust him in the first place. His smile makes him seem real and genuine, not to mention extremely handsome. I realize I'm staring at him and glance away, my cheeks flushing with heat. He chuckles and signs, I'll get you your mac and cheese, it's a deal. That's the end of, we ended on page 137, and that is the end of chapter 16 in Ellie's perspective. And guys, I'm sorry, that was my knuckles. Hopefully you aren't bothered by that. But, okay, I only have questions, like, you know how, like, she turns away when she blushes? Like, how does she, like, see him sign? You know, like, how does this work? Like, I can barely do any ASL, but I still find the book really interesting. I thought about doing it before. I don't know. I think the book is interesting. I hope you guys are liking it too. I mean, you're kind of already halfway through it, so yeah, we're halfway. I didn't even look at the page, I just remembered, but like, yeah, we're like exactly halfway. So I hope you guys are enjoying, and I'm gonna see you guys in a little bit. So, ciao for now. Bye. I don't know why I didn't press it. Bye.